right, guys, today we're welcoming to the show Sophia Culpo from the hit TLC show, The Culpo Sisters. This is the second Culpo sister we've gotten to have on the show. So, Sophia, thank you so much for taking the time
Thank
to be here.
you. Thank
We
you for having me.
appreciate
I'm
it.
so excited.
Absolutely. I wanted to kick this off really quick and just ask you a question that we asked Aurora, who was just on the show last week. We had a great conversation with her. But I wanted
I
to
bet you
ask
did.
you really quick before we dive into all kinds of stuff if filming a reality show was a good time. Because Aurora said that filming a reality show can be a bit cathartic. It can be really cathartic and really good if you're willing to open up and really kind of like tell your story. But how was your experience?
I'll be so honest with you. It was really challenging for me because I think if you follow my storyline, you can kind of already see that there are some things in my personal life that I've been struggling with for years, and then to have it filmed kind of just like compounds those emotions. Not to mention, you're seeing us as three sisters on the screen, but like there are multiple people around, producing this show. So just that amount of bodies and energy, like it can get to be very overwhelming, and it really is cathartic when you have these conversations with your family and like you get these feelings out and you're having these discussions that like need to be happening. But it can definitely be overwhelming. In the end, it was more than I got more from it than I ever thought I would.
I want to piggyback off of this a little bit because there are so many people who love you and your sisters and they watch you. And I think that I feel like a lot of us, like we see your social media, we see what you do, and we vicariously live through you, right? But in my mind, I'm thinking you're being vulnerable on a show about things that you're going with, whether it's like, I don't want to say sibling rivalry or I don't want to use that word, but the constant comparisons, right? You're constantly being compared to Aurora or Olivia. And then you have to kind of find your place in this dynamic because it's not within the family. Within the family, you get to be yourselves at a family dinner table. And we saw
Yeah.
that in Rhode Island in a recent episode. But then the outside world, they want to compare all three sisters. So the fact that you were so vulnerable, I think it's going to help so many different, not just women, but also men who are navigating similar situations.
Yeah, and that is the hope because honestly, I'm very bad at being vulnerable. It's something that I've worked to be good at, and I've worked to get to that point because there really is power in vulnerability, but it's really, really scary. And even now, like seeing the show, it's all out there. I really did not allow that part of myself to be shared on Instagram because that was terrifying, but now it's out on the show, and I'm like, well, can't keep it together all the time. Like I can't keep that guard up. So people now know what my real family life is like. They know what I'm like around my family. And they also know what I'm like on social media and what I'm like with my friends, which is a completely different person, which I think a lot of people can actually relate to. And I didn't know that. A lot of people feel like kind of different beings around family versus friends. Not everyone, but some.
When you went into the show, because I know there's like a kind of a stigma of reality show, like of reality television anyway, where people go into it thinking, okay, I don't want to say you guys were doing it because you weren't at all. I applaud all three of you for being so open, so vulnerable. And we were talking about with Aurora last week that, you watch a show like The Kardashians, which is reality television, but it's very amplified in the celebrity and everything else. But then we have this new show, which is really fresh, and it was a fresh take for me anyway, like TLC production. It was just so nice to see, and you guys were so open. But did you go into it thinking, I need to portray myself this way? Or did you go into it just kind of completely bare and like, I'm just going to be an open book and I'm just going to be myself?
Lay it all out there.
I think part of me definitely wanted to keep a certain uh viewpoint of myself or a certain image that I had already established on social media on this show, and then it went right out the window. Like that did not last at all because you can't fake it around your family. It's not possible. Like if you get up on a stage and you're talking, like you're going to put on like your professional voice, like you're going to sound poised. I can't do that around my sisters, and they can't do it around me because we're like, who is this person? Like that's not you. So you really do just get like a completely different side of us.
Did you, to kind of also, I love piggybacking off of Jason's questions.
Well, thank you
can't
so
help
much.
it.
Younger sibling traits.
Yes. But my question for you is, did you find now watching back the season, you did watch it back, right? Or no?
Oh yeah, I watched it every Monday. I wanted to keep it like as organic with the audiences that were viewing on the network. So I cheated once and it was the finale. I
I
watched
was
it
gonna say, did you
Monday
sneak at
morning.
all? Because I don't know if I would be able to do that. I would be like, okay, I need to know what's coming. Because you have like shows like The Real Housewives, and they get the episode like a few days before, so they have time
Yeah.
to process.
They try to get ahead of it.
They try to get ahead of
Yeah.
it, but you
Yeah.
didn't do that.
I did not do that. I really didn't. Once I found out that it was you could like see it on Discovery Plus before you could see it on TLC, I was like, I'm not going to do it. Like I want to enjoy the Monday nights and like watch it, but I have to say after that one episode with my sister and I really fighting, that was really hard for me to watch. And I couldn't sleep that night. I was like annoyed. I didn't like the way I came across. I didn't like the way it was put together. And so then the next episode, I was like, I gotta watch this during the day because I need to be sleeping at night. I can't be up.
You're like, no. Well, with that, did you have a moment this season? Because we have a few moments, and I think it's, first of all, when we see you argue with Olivia and we see Aurora try to sort of mediate, it's so funny because it just reminds me, and I'm sure anyone else who would be watching, who'd be fans of you guys, it reminds you of those family dynamics. Like we all have them, right? Where we
Yeah.
have those energies within our homes where somebody's a mediator, then we have the two who are butting heads. But did you have a moment where you look back, you watched it on screen and you're like, damn it, man. Why did I give that to you? I shouldn't have given that to you. I wish I could take that back.
Yes, definitely. It's when I will never live this down, but I think I called Olivia a dick.
Yeah, you did. It was Aurora's second birthday party. It was like the redo birthday.
Like, first of all, I don't even use that word. Like, I don't know why of all the insults I could think of, that's what came out. But that is how mad I was. I also like don't name call really unless it's a sister. Like, but even then, like I'm very non-confrontational. It's said throughout the show, it's a known thing about me. I don't like confrontation. And this is why, because some parts of me just get so angry, and the only thing that I can say is just like eighth grade insult. So I was like, why did I call her a dick? I don't know.
You're
I
like,
mean,
sorry, sis, you're a dick.
Olivia mentioned on
was
the
being a
show,
dick, so.
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask though, is she mentioned on the show that you guys fight a lot, but you kind of quickly make up. What
Mhm.
made this one different? Like what made it more like,
I was
I don't
really
know, energized?
I think part for me, the hardest part of that whole situation was because it was in front of our parents, and she was, typical sibling fights, like who's gonna suck up to the parents, and I felt like she was trying to make me look bad intentionally in front of our parents, and I was like, first of all, that whole conversation was just supposed to be between Aurora and I, and Olivia. She does like to give advice unsolicited often, and she like butt in, and I was like, I'm not asking for advice right now. And I think that happens to a lot of younger siblings. I was getting so many messages saying like, when I vent to my family, I can't, because as a younger sibling, all they want to do is give me unsolicited advice. All I want is them to say like, I see you and I hear you and I understand. Like, that's it.
Do you
My
know,
sister doesn't know how to do that.
I'm sitting here listening to you thinking about every conversation I've had with my younger brother, and he is the youngest, in the past like month, and I'm like, wow, I do offer a lot of unsolicited advice, like
Oh my
all the
gosh.
time we
Yes.
talk. I always do. And I have to go ahead and like bury myself here too, because every time we are in front of our family, I will do the same thing Olivia does. I'll make
Yeah.
a scene because I want to look good in front of my parents. And
Jason is the
Yes.
Olivia. I feel like I am
I'm the
channeling
Olivia. I'm
my
definitely the
inner
Olivia of my family.
Sophia. And one thing that I found fascinating, Sophia, about your journey on your new show was the fact that I don't want to say ever that you felt like you were living in your sister's shadow, but I think it's more so that you're constantly being compared, right? And you are totally your own person, your own being, your own personality, all of those things. And I thought it was so fascinating at the end where you decide to make that kind of, I don't even want to call it a hard decision to move in with your boyfriend because you're taking that next step, which is incredible in its own. However, it's almost like you're moving away. Your boyfriend just, got re-signed to this incredible NFL team. But what's going to happen to your career? And I'm thinking, guys, we're in 2022. Like, we have so many amazing people who influence, who get different contracts all over the United States, all over the world. Like, Sophia's going to be fine. But did that ever cross your mind? Like, if I'm not with my sisters in Los Angeles, my career could be hindered? Or were you very much so aware of the fact that, like, listen, it's 2022?
I think because of the fact that I'm able to work from multiple places, and I was very lucky that my boyfriend was re-signed to the Jets, so I'm literally 20 minutes from New York City. Like, if this were anywhere else, if I was in Wisconsin, I don't know if I would be moving in with him, just because opportunities are here in New York. So I was very lucky. That definitely added to my decision to move in. I think the hardest decision was changing the dynamic of my sisters, because that now I see them, like, they'll hang out all the time, and I'm like, crap, like, they're gonna get really close and like I'm not there. And I see that my nieces and nephews are over there, like, they're growing up. My brother Gus just moved out to California again too. So I actually am more afraid of, like, getting distant from my sisters and my brother than I am my career, because I'm confident that I can make the career work anywhere.
The
I
FOMO
mean,
of it all.
yeah, it's more FOMO than it is. Although I will say our management team is in Los Angeles. So that is a little challenging, in the sense of, like, they'll get, hey, is Sophia available for this job? And it's like, darn, like, I'm in New York right now. So that is when it's frustrating. But then we just pivot and we reach out to New York teams and we're like, hey, she's here. Like,
Absolutely.
we can make anything work.
And
Yeah.
also on the flip side too, you're taking, I mean, I guess this is the next step. I mean, moving in with someone is kind of a big deal, right?
It's a huge
Yeah.
deal.
I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. I mean, the New York Jets now has still a great wide receiver, so that's awesome for the New York Jets and for you to be in New York. But before that, though, I guess you guys were kind of apart for a while, right?
I was going back and forth so often. Olivia and I actually got stuck together during quarantine too, obviously, because we were, like, living together, but we were stuck in the same house for 4 months. Like, that was a lot in and of itself. After that, I was like, okay, I need a break. And then I actually went back to Rhode Island after that. And that is how I met Braxton. I happened to be on the East Coast. So that's how we connected after COVID, actually. So
And
one good
how
thing
was
came out of
that? Because I always wonder, because Adam and I, we're together. We've been together almost a decade, and I think the day after we met, we've spent every day together since. It's like crazy. How do you manage a long distance, like, kind of getting to know someone, or a long distance relationship? What was that like for you?
I'm so
So
curious.
Because everyone has a different answer to this, so that's why I
Yes.
just
I
wanted to
know
ask.
you do have to be you have to be good with texting and FaceTiming, which it's not my favorite method of communication. But if you're going to be in a long distance relationship, like, you've got to have that open communication. Otherwise, out of sight, out of mind. Like, if you're not putting in the work, how are you going to keep up those emotions? If this person doesn't know, if you don't want to be sharing, like, every moment of your day with this person, I think that's very telling. And for me, I'm, like, constantly annoying him 24/7. I'm just like, I text him when he's at work and I know he's not going to respond. I'm like, so I just stubbed my toe. Just thought you should know. Like, it really is. And then also, when he's in season, I know that I have to travel to see him. Now that I'm living with him, I don't. But when we weren't, I was constantly flying to see him because he can't leave, and you have to be willing to make those sacrifices. And then vice versa, when he was out of season, he would come to LA. So you do have to have those conversations, and you have to make sure that both are willing. And we both hate long distance, so then we end up moving in together.
That's
I want
funny.
I wanted
Sorry.
to ask you, no, with that, because I think, Jason, that's such a great question and something that we really can't relate to, but I have
No,
so
no,
much
but
respect
because,
for
like, all
this.
the time, like, you really do have to be communicative. You have to always talk, and it's just, yeah. Wait, really quick, because I want to follow up on this. Sorry, Adam. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
It's
It's
usually
okay.
you who do this to me, so
I
I'm
know.
gonna do it back to you.
We've lasted 10 years. We don't hate each other, I promise.
No, I was
Are you guys not together in the same space right now?
Oh,
It
we're in the
seems like,
same
we're in
same
different
house, different,
yeah, different
spots.
oh,
areas.
fun. Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
in my workspace, he's in his, and then
Oh,
it's
I
just
love that.
better like that. No, I was gonna ask though, uh, because you are apart from Olivia, you guys still have a lot of very close similarities, especially when it comes to being in a relationship. You are both with NFL players. I
Yep.
bet this also helps your relationship because you can kind of compare and, I don't know, compare your journeys in a relationship, right?
Yes. And I have to say, like, when I did have a rule where it was like no athletes, just because I'd seen what my sister had gone through prior, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that. And I have really just, I will admittedly say, I did not have much faith in guys that have girls thrown at themselves all the time, you know, and then they travel on top of that. Like it was just something I wasn't willing to do. And then I meet Braxton, and he's honestly the best human I've ever met in my entire life. I will openly say he's a better person than I am, and that's why he makes me better, because I'm like, okay, I'm learning. Like he's a peach. I can't say it enough.
He's a peach. I asked Aurora, I'm like, your two sisters are dating NFL players. What happens if like another NFL player comes along, or you meet someone, like, I want to introduce you to Aurora, and she's like, I don't want to be a cleat chaser. And she
I
explained to
know.
us what a cleat chaser is, but
I
Yeah, I had
know.
questions.
would you
It's
want to
tough. I
introduce
don't
someone to a
love.
football player?
I wouldn't. I don't know if I would. I honestly don't know if I would. I feel like I've got very lucky. Olivia's gotten very lucky. I'm like, I don't know. That might be a lot. And on top of it, I don't love that it's another similarity between Olivia and I. Like I love Braxton. That's why I'm with
Mm,
Braxton. But if I'm being honest, like it's just another comparison for people to draw on, and sometimes it's hard for me to hear like just the mini version, like mini version of living like that. I don't love, but that's the people in the world that make those comments, and I try to obviously to drown all those things out, but I don't think Aurora would care for them as well unless she really
mm.
loved the person.
I think really quick, Jason, I'm gonna cut you off only
Okay.
because
Okay.
now now that we got the first season of your reality show, I am so curious because now we've seen you move. But say we get picked up for a season 2, and that's what I'm hoping for, because just the authenticity of your show and the way that you come out as a family dynamic. And it seems like, I mean, your brother was peeing into a bottle on the side of his bed. Like, this is not, you don't fake this, right? This
I
is
was so hoping that would not make the show. That is
it.
mortifying.
It made the show. So I'm saying, like, with that, it's just one of the gold mines of your show, not the peeing in the bottle, but the fact that you
Yeah.
are so vulnerable as a family. If you do get picked up, when you do get picked up, is that something where you're just like, okay, I will fly back and forth from New York to LA and let's do season 2? Or is it something where you're like, guys, I don't have time for this?
I have no idea how that would play out. I really do hope that it can cover more of like my life here individually as well as with Braxton. I think it's for me, I love that part of my life, of course, and I would love to be able to share more of that. I am also in LA very often for work and to see my niece and nephews, and just to like kind of you know, take every opportunity I can. I'm not going to say no to a job in Los Angeles just because I'm in New York. Like I'll fly out and do everything that I can. So I'm sure it will be a mix of everything. I know that the people love my parents and they live in Rhode Island. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it was also just like more so spending time with them in Rhode Island. My mom literally called me this morning begging me to drive home this weekend. So that's what I'm going to do. I really just go where I'm needed.
I love that. I think that would be so interesting to carry on everything. We see that you've moved. We get to see your parents. We get introduced to the new restaurant. I feel like it'd be fun to carry that on. I mean, the Culpo sisters don't have to all be in LA at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It kind of gives you that like self-identity that you're kind of looking for. It's like, okay, I don't have to always be around Olivia or Aurora. I can have my own thing going on. I think that would be interesting.
Exactly. And that's reality. That is the reality of it. I do spend a lot of time on a plane and a lot of time traveling to between the coasts. So that would be as honest as we can get.
Can I ask you really quick, the moment the moment watching back that made you maybe even cringe the most? Okay, I'm gonna give you 3 moments that I can remember from the show. I can go down like 5 or 6 because I loved your show. But it was the going to Aurora's birthday party on the yacht, and we're fighting over the bathing suit. Then we have your mom come out in the milk carton costume. And then we have Gus peeing into the whatever the bottle it was. Like, if you could take
Oh,
one of these moments back and be like, damn it, man. Go say you're on the editing floor and you get to cut something. What are you cutting?
oh my God, I'm cutting the pee bottle.
Oh, the
That's
pea
just
bottle.
That was
foul.
such an
I
easy, yeah.
cannot.
You're like, we're never gonna marry him off like this.
People DM us all the time, like, is your brother single? I'm like, for a reason. Like, you don't want to date him.
What is the I guess the same thing as if we're calling a woman who's with an NFL player, if Aurora says that's a cleat chaser, then what is it if Gus dates an NFL cheerleader? Would that be
What?
a pom-pom chaser?
See, I don't know, and not to
I
be
don't
all
know.
like, not to go all into this space, but nobody ever calls out NFL players for dating models. Olivia and I are both models. No one brings that up.
Double standard.
That's true. You know, I've heard so many things. Maybe you can like enlighten me just a little bit about this because we have had friends who have been in the NFL, and I know there's like this kind of thing with like you have NFL like wives. There's like a wives club, and then you
The
have like the
wags.
girlfriend, the wags, and the girlfriends or the the like just the random ones. Do you feel that tension, or are you very like kind of welcomed by maybe some of the other Jets ladies?
I have to say the Jets organization is so nice and welcoming. I'm very good friends with a lot of girls on the team. I'll go to their homes or they'll come to mine to watch the games. So we have a lot of fun. We have a big group chat. Like this weekend, someone's planning a Christmas day in the city, night and dinner. And we all just have so much fun together because you're really in a new space supporting the person you love, but you might not know that many people here. I'm very lucky that I am from Rhode Island, not far away, and I have a lot of friends that live in the city. But
So it's
some
like a
people move
support
over.
system.
It's like a community.
100%.
Nice.
I've heard
That's really
not
good to
every
hear.
team is like that though. I've heard some
So
teams
have we.
aren't.
That's why I
Yeah,
wanted to I was like, what is that like? Especially,
yeah.
uh, if these ladies they have like an older partner and who's been around for a long time and like you're new coming into this, like I know it would be kind of I don't
I've
know,
heard that like there are some
weird.
places where they'll separate like the wives from the girlfriends. Like the wives are
Right.
legit and the girlfriends are just kind of like side pieces. I would not appreciate that, but I'm lucky that I have never dealt with that.
I wanted to ask you now moving forward, of course, we're hoping for many, many more seasons of the Culpo Sisters, but with everything that you have going on, you're super busy, you have an amazing relationship. Say we get to like look fast forward 5 years from now, right? We're obviously a part of the Wives Club, but where are we? Like, what's going on? Where do you see yourself? Is it with like a brand? Are we still, modeling? Are we still doing the influence? Well, like, how does this look?
My biggest thing right now that I'm working on is being more creative. I've always grew up being very, very creative and loving to like sketch and draw and just really express myself through things like that. And then I just completely stopped when I was like, that you get to that age where those things are no longer important and you do things that will make you money. So my intention for the next 5 years is to really draw back in on that creative side and make that into my passion, whether that's something that's in fashion, if that's something that's in, a wellness space. That is, I don't want to give things away, but like that is the road that I'm manifesting for myself.
To piggyback off of that, obviously we want independence from you because that was that was the biggest part of your storyline. But the Culpo Sisters, that's like a collaboration with you and your family. Are you opposed to in the future, say we have, a big fashion house or a big brand or a big box company that comes forward and says, we want you, Olivia and Aurora, to do a line for us showcasing all three different personalities. Like, is that something you're still open to and still being identified with your sisters?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I love working with my sisters. I mean, working with your family, obviously you're going to run into, fights, and when you're sisters, you fight naturally. But we are also best friends. We're also extremely close. And I don't want that to ever be lost through the series. And I think you do see that like we fight, but we make it up. We make up. We still love one another. And we've done collaborations in the past, the three of us. I would love to do another one. We did a collection with Macy's 2 years ago, and we just did one cohesive collaboration between the three of us. But I would love to do one where we each have like our own set of clothing designs, because we're very different in that respect. So I think that would be really, really fun, and especially fun for me because, like I said, finding like my creative side again and just kind of getting more in touch with the things that I like instead of the things that are like trendy right now. I think that's something that I'm really focusing on.
You can so
That's
tell I'm gay
awesome.
because I love the butterfly top. But Jason, I'm going to pass this to you. Right though, right? Am I wrong?
The one that's in the show, right? That my mom's like,
Yes, when your
"Ooh."
mom had the mask on. Yeah, sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh
Sorry.
my well,
Fangirl moment.
I wanted to wrap it up with like a few things about your future because you just mentioned that your intention is to get more creative, and you do have a candle line out with Aurora called the Intentions Duo. And I
Mhm.
asked her which candle was hers, and you guys can find it on waycart.com. We're gonna drop the link on the description of the YouTube and of course the podcast.
Yay.
But it's the Intentions Duo. I love the design of these candles. I can't wait to get a set. We have actually ordered one because we have to support the guests on the show 100%.
Thank
But I
you.
love this design, and I can't wait to smell this. So Aurora said that the no inhibitions candle is hers. So that
Yes.
means all is well is yours. What was your inspiration
Yes.
behind, first of all, the collection, and then also your candle by itself?
It's funny because this is something that really sparked that creative, just like juice in me again, because this was the first collaboration that I've done in a while that was like fully left up to me. Like, and my sister, we each designed ours like separately. Of course, we wanted them to coordinate so you could get them together. But it was just so much fun having creative freedom and able to do that. And when you can only put so much on a candle and you can only do so much in that respect. But it was just bringing, what you wanted people to feel when they lit this candle, where they put it in their home, like all of those things you take into account. And for me, all is well was kind of a mantra I had throughout college, because teenage years to college, I just really struggled a lot with like social anxiety, but also I think a little bit of it was having this like familiarity with my last name that I wasn't used to, but it was all because my sister a little bit. I struggled identifying with that. And something I would just say to myself is like, all is well. Like, you can relax. Like, you don't, like, nothing is wrong. So that's something that I would write over and over again. And I still say it all the time. And I wanted that to be my first candle because it was something that was extremely personal. And I just wanted to share that with others because this whole year has just been the power of vulnerability. So there you have it.
And you
I
have
love
another
it.
arm for the tattoo. All as
I
well.
do. Oh my
Yes.
God, I have 6 now.
Now, do you?
They're very small. Like, you would never know. Like, literally, one of them is like a heart right here, and then I have like a whole. Where's the camera?
You got bit by
Like,
the bug. You got
yeah, I
bit by the
did.
tattoo bug.
I did. The
Well,
good thing is though about mine, like I can hide them if I don't want them to be seen, and that was all intentional.
That's great. No, I mean, I have three. You can't really see. No, you can't see them either.
no, you
Really,
can't.
Yeah,
but they're not like
it's
in your
fun.
face. But I love
No.
those subtle, like just those subtle little tattoos. They're really nice. Sophia,
Yeah.
we have to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. We are such huge fans of you, especially after talking
Thank
to you. Like, it's
you.
so fun to get to meet you, but also of the show, the Culpo Sisters, which just wrapped. We cannot wait for a season 2. You can still stream it on Discovery Plus, and I just thought it was such a great show. You guys were so authentic, so vulnerable, so open, and that's what's missing in reality television right now is positivity instead of the negativity. And you, all three of you ladies, brought it.
Can
Brought
Thank
it.
I
you so much. That's
add
all we
to that?
wanted from it.
I just want to add to that really quick too. As
Hmm.
Jason said, I can't do a rapid fire round, but listen, we've been in a relationship for 10 years and he totally knows how I operate. Can I just ask you 3 questions really quick?
Yes.
Okay. If you could picture yourself in any state, any city, whatever, at the end of this, because obviously you're so young and there's so much movement right now in your career, in your boyfriend's career, where do you picture yourself settling down?
Ooh.
Oh, settling down. It's somewhere on the East Coast. Braxton's from North Carolina. I'm from Rhode Island. We actually do love being around New York and New Jersey, so I could see it being around here.
Okay.
I love that. I love that.
And when people compare your show with your sisters to the Kardashians, how do you feel about that?
I don't really feel anything specific. I think naturally that's people's comparison because we're sisters, but that's the only similarity in my mind. We're so different. Like, we were raised different places, different family dynamics. So I just think it's a completely different show.
Okay. And then lastly, just because we're so invested into your relationship now, and I'm manifesting season 2 of the Kobo Sisters and more of your boyfriend, all of this. I want to see the relationships, the dynamics, all of it. But when we get to see all of this 10 years from now, do we see babies, no babies, marriage? How do we feel?
10 years from now, oh, babies, I'll be 36. I want a
Oh,
big family.
big
If I'm
family.
lucky enough to have my
Ooh.
babies, yes.
Okay, good. Okay, that's it. Sorry, Jason. Take it away.
No, I love that. I love it. And I have to agree, it is so different than the Kardashians. This is something I really enjoyed watching the show. That's exactly what I was talking about. It's just open and authentic. Aurora said too last week, she's like, at one point it did feel authentic and real, but then it's fun to watch the celebrity of it all and watch their growth and stuff. But I think it's just so fun to watch. I don't know.
Well, they became pre-produced, and then you have Sophia's brother peeing in a cup, and then Sophia calling her sister a dick, and then saying like, I'm out of
Bringing
here,
that
I
up.
move. And listen, there's like, you can tell that this is like raw. We're in the raw beginnings of this reality show, which makes it so much fun for the viewers to watch, and it makes it relatable. I think that once things become a little bit too pre-produced, like, listen, we love our Kardashians, we don't have to compare too much, but at some point we can't necessarily all relate to getting in our Maybachs and flying in our private jets to, you know, the
That's
UK or
true.
Dubai. Like, things change, right? So
Yeah.
that's it.
All right,
Love
guys.
that.
Well, that was Sophia. And Sophia, thank you so much again for being on here. We appreciate
Thank
you.
you. Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.